think you should.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Whoscussion. For Part B, again, we're going to be covering Horror of Glam Rock, which is another adventure in Season 26B, and finishing it off with The Little Drummer Boy. Harriet Skelly, Horror of Glam Rock. Take us away. Let's rock out.
Yeah, rock out with out. Anyway, so, Doctor and Lucy, good old Lucy, have in 1974, in the middle of the great rockin' time, basically, when a lot of stars, a lot of music star talent was found, and it wasn't as hard to get into the music industry. They meet up with, initially once they get there, they are immediately greeted with a dead body, of course, because that's just Doctor Who way, really.
Especially 8, he's like, oh, I can't get away from this.
Yeah, he just cannot get away, basically. So he's there. There's a dead body. He's been torn to strips. They go inside of a cafe, one of those
It's like a truck stop, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It's. Yeah,
it's a service station, so so it's a truck stop.
Yeah, but it's also got a kitchenette in it as well.
Yeah, you know how and I think that's iconography that I would more associate with the United States.
It is, but it's definitely in the UK.
Yeah, it's definitely in the UK. In fact, it's in Bramlington.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's kind of like one of those American truck stoppy-esque things, but in England for some reason. It's very interesting. Apparently, it's an iconic place as well that a lot of rock stars have been to.
Yeah.
So I guess that's probably why it's a big deal. I don't know. I'm not a huge glam rock fan anyway, so I don't know. But anyway, so immediately the Doctor is kind of on edge about this. Basically, tells everyone to sit down and shut up. Let him sort this out. A pair of people, Flo and Pat, have just left, and they find themselves greeted with the monsters. They run back inside, and the Doctor immediately believes them. And Lucy feels like she kind of knows this Pat person. She's not too sure about that. But anyway, so we find out that there's these two people, Susie and Slade are the people, the Tomorrow Twins.
Yeah, the Tomorrow Twins. Susie and Slade.
Yeah, they are with their manager on their way to go to the Top of the Pops,
who's played by Bernard Cribbins as well. I was like, yes.
Yeah,
I love Bernard Cribbins.
So they make their way there, just to have just to get a break, basically, in between. Slade is a little weird. He seems to be just a little weird. He's a bit weird, mainly because he's got a magic flute, basically. That is allowing him to communicate with. Is it a flute? It's like a weird thing.
A stylophone.
Stylophone.
Yeah. It was in a lot of early Pink Floyd songs.
Yeah. So he's got one of these. It's magic, apparently, or at least he knows how to use it in a particular way that allows him to communicate with aliens, who are also capable of manifesting these bestial forms. Kind of like when I looked at the cover of this, I was like, are they werewolves? But they're not. I think they kind of look like them, but they're not exactly. They're obviously not werewolves, because that's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we find out that he's been communicating with these things. That's why he's a little bit crazy. And the Doctor and Lucy are trying to figure this all out, of course. Eventually, the Doctor manages to, or after a kerfuffle where the twins get like pulled out of the service station by the manager because they're trying to get to. He's apparently so keen to get to the top of the pops that he doesn't care for his own life. Apparently, I don't know what that's all about. He goes outside, gets his leg shredded up, ends up getting the Susie dead, and
ultra dead as well.
Ultra dead, mega dead, proper dead. Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. The Doctor manages to get this musical instrument off of Slade and uses it to contact these aliens, figuring out what their ultimate goal is, which is to eat all the tweens that are so in love with Slade's music. Because, who hasn't heard that before, basically.
I'm pretty sure there's a Sixth Doctor comic where the Zygons do that.
I feel like a lot of people have done that, and I feel like the Jones Brothers are actively doing that. We're actively doing that. But anyway.
You hit it here first, folks.
Yeah. Anyway, so in the midst of this, Lucy talks to Pat, finds out that Pat is legitimately her auntie, who's just there, apparently. Quite curious. Lucy divulges basically that she's a time traveler and that Pat goes on to do nothing with her life, basically.
Well done, Lucy.
Yeah, good job, Lucy.
Yeah, 1080p there, Lucy.
Yeah, and the Doctor, upon hearing this, doesn't give a single hick.
He really does. It's funny because, like,
he really does.
His whole time with Charlie, he's like, "But the whip of time, Charlie."
Yeah. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I think he is really just over it at this point.
Yeah. I suppose when you become a space god because of the Cybermen, you're probably going to be over things.
Yeah, he's relatively over it. It's pretty great. Yeah. So that's that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Really, is that the Doctor manages to figure out these aliens are based on the sound, because that's how they get brought in by the musical instrument. So he uses basically a megaphone and Lucy's MP3 player to capture these aliens inside of one of her songs on an MP3 player, which I guess kind of makes sense, really. And that's pretty much it, really.
Yeah, it's very short as well. This one's only 45 minutes.
Yeah, it does. It feels really short, but it is. It is only 45 minutes. So yeah, it's a pretty short story, like standard standard TV length episode.
Yeah, it's funny there, right?
Yeah, funny then. But still managed to yeah, I do feel like a lot of the characters, I guess, weren't fleshed out as well as they could have been, but I guess it's just the 45-minute mark is kind of that. And I guess it was more about Lucy with her stuff, so that's why it managed to fit in quite well as well. So as well. Yeah. Otherwise, it was pretty solid of a story. There were a couple of like music references as well in it, which were amusing. You know the drill, basically.
Oi, Doctor, leave them kids alone.
Yeah,
that was my favorite, and it was Bernard Cribbins as well. I was like, this can't get better. It just can't. Yeah,
it was pretty great. So yeah, that's horror of glam rock. When I was searching this on TARDIS Wikia, the first thing that came up was horror of
Fang Rock.
There's a lot of horror of horror of the space stakes, horror of glam rock, horror of Fang Rock. Yeah,
the horror of Fang Rock one is funny because in the behind the scenes segment of horror of glam rock, they're like, well, I mean, the name really came to us because of Tom Baker's horror of Fang Rock, and we thought to ourselves, well, you just change it to glam rock, and the story really evolved from there. And I was like, oh my goodness, I really want to drink the type of tea that these two guys really drink at Big Finish. And it's come up with some of the greatest stories ever. Just like, whoa, what if the Doctor did this? And it is interesting to have the Eighth Doctor just really not caring anymore, and I feel like it's because the Time Lords, after treating him so terribly, especially during the Lucy arc, he's had the Charlie arc, he's had Lucy thrust upon him without any heads up, and he's just like, you know what, guys, I don't even care anymore. You know?
So you guys literally banished me, and you expect me to deal with this? What?
He's like, no.
Not keen, actually.
You know, I left my best friend in Singapore recently.
She's dead.
Yeah. Oh. You know, you didn't have to bring that part back up.
You know I do. You know I can't let you have this. I can't
have this light of hope at the end of my tunnel.
She is well dead. Yeah. She's dead as Clara should be.
What's quite interesting is that Flo, who's the lady who is part of the kitchen, well, she's the one that's running the kitchen, she actually references the Wombles, which is so great because Bernard Cribbins is Uncle Bulgaria in the Wombles. Yeah. And I was like, Big Finish, come on, guys. Come on. It just, Bernard Cribbins, like, being the bad guy, it's so strange because, like, him as Wilfred Mott, I love Wilfred Mott. And this is why I don't understand why people are getting really angry that Bradley Walsh is going to be the new companion. Because I'm like, we've had an old guy companion before and it worked.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't understand.
Because like Bernard Cribbins was an incredible companion, and it's great because he played the grandfather of our favorite New Who companions. So I was like, you know what, fantastic. Yeah. Bernard Cribbins is great. Flo is played by Una Stubbs, and you guys will probably remember her as the landlady from Sherlock. So I was like, man, things are getting so meta right now. Like,
yeah.
And I remember there's an episode of Jonathan Creek where Paul McGann and Sheridan Smith are in it. And I'm just like, England, man, come on.
English television just kind of gets like that.
Yeah, man, and it's because you actually have to be ultra talented to get work.
Yeah,
and it's not about how like you know, it's not like in the States where it's just like, do you look pretty? Here you go, here's a job. It's, can you act? We don't care how you look. Can you act? Yes.
Yeah.
You want to be in the show?
Although even then, like in some American television, there is some real curious reasons as to why they ever got the job. Like, don't look very nice, don't act very well. It's kind of like, how did you get this?
How did you get this role?
Only because everyone else is busy, basically.
Yeah, everyone else is busy. Horror of Glam Rock is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Highly recommend it. Just do it.
The good thing is that it's short and it's full cast, and I'm like, this is great.
Basically, you've got plenty of time between now and Christmas. Just go ahead and watch it.
Oh man,
listen to it.
Yes, we've got plenty of time between now and Christmas. Yes. But with the end of Horror of Glam Rock, we've got a continuity thread that comes back, which is the headhunter turning up and asking where Lucy is.
Yes.
And everybody's like, she's gone with that doctor. I'm just like, why am I always late? She's like, all right, I'm getting out of here. All right, Auntie Pat, bye. I really think the doctor really should have investigated Lucy messing around with time-space a bit more, but all right, let's go.
No, he doesn't give a crap anymore.
He's like, well, I don't care. You know, remember when you guys...
The Time Lords clearly don't want to... kind of like, I do this, so whatever.
Yeah. So,
and also, it's their own damn fault for sending you to me, basically.
Oh, you guys wanted me to not break the web in time? Well, la-dee-dee-dee-da.
Perhaps you shouldn't have given this girl to me.
This girl I clearly don't want to travel with. Alright. But I like at the beginning of Horror Glam Rock when he's like, I'm actually kind of glad that I'm not by myself because it was ultra boring.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, cool, it's great. And the doctor's like, no, I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm only got you because I'm bored. Not because we're friends.
Yes.
But, I don't know. I liked her more in this better than I liked her in Blood of the Daleks. I think it's because she's, like, probably gotten along. She's probably done stuff with the Doctor since then and there. But
Possibly.
we're going into The Little Drummer Boy, which is, I suppose, in a way, our last story. But I want to talk about something else once we finish this.
Okay.
So, Little Drummer Boy takes place between episodes 7 and 8 of the Star Wars, of the Daleks Master Plan. And so that's just after the Feast of Stephen, which is one of the strangest episodes of Doctor Who ever.
Yes.
It's directly right after it because it talks about a boy who's on the set of a Hollywood studio, and sees the Doctor just yelling at Sarah and Stephen, just like, get in this damn box, we're getting out of here.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas to everybody at home. They end up landing in the 19th century. They land in the early 20th century during World War One. The Doctor is involved in a soccer game that we know the Ninth Doctor is also involved in. Sorry, a game of football.
They're just all involved with it.
Yeah, all involved with it. It's like how many Doctors are on the Titanic, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah. Every single, I can guarantee you that there's like those little nexus points of like crazy stuff that every single Doctor has been present. Like, I imagine there's probably like as that day starts when the guns stop shooting on Christmas Day for that is at that very moment one of the Doctors shows up, and then as soon as one leaves, another one shows up, and they're just like they're just going in and out of the soccer match. Like he's just subbing himself in every time.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
So Sarah notices whenever they stop off a young boy, and during World War One, he's a drummer boy, and Sarah's like, "What in the heck is a child doing and here on the field of battle?"
Yeah.
And so Sarah's like, "Hey, Doctor." The Doctor's like, "What is it, my dear? What? Can't you see I'm talking to this nice young soldier man?" And she's like, "Yeah, but there's a little boy here." And he's like, "So?" She's like, "Yeah, but it's the same little boy." Yeah. She's like, "It's the same little boy we saw 50 years ago." And he's like, Oh, I see. How was he still a little boy? That's a good question, my dear. So they go over to see him, and then his entire front of his body splits open. And
they ask him what the deal is first.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hey, where's your time machine? And he's like, oh, all right, I'll show you. And then his entire body just splits open.
Yeah, and Sarah's just like, okay, like
what am I witnessing?
Whoa!
Like, Doctor, did you drug me?
Like, whoa, what's going on here? But just before that, the little drummer boy references the fact that she's dead.
Yes.
And she's like, wait, what?
That was kind of thing. I mean, obviously it was a reference we all know about.
Yeah.
But it was also just, the boy like being a boy, playing like Indians and cowboys, like just shooting her with a toy gun, saying you're dead. But it was when he says it like a couple of times, you're just like, you guys didn't need to do that.
Yeah. We get how creepy this is, man.
We understand.
And Sarah's just like, whoa, what the hell? And she's and Sarah starts questioning her own mortality as well. And I'm like, oh, Sarah, you don't have enough days in the year for that, honey, because you don't survive this story. So they climb inside the strange alien corpse of this child, and I'm just like, that's so gross. And they're on the other side, and they're like, and the Doctor's like, oh, it's a bioorganic time machine. And she's like, okay, that doesn't make this any less weird. Like,
I literally just climbed inside of a little boy.
I climbed inside the corpse of a child, Doctor. Like, come on. And he's like, no, it's all right. It's a time machine. It's not really a kid.
It's not the worst thing that's going to happen to you.
It is actually not the worst thing that's going to happen to her. She's like, you don't even know. We're going to steal some feet from Planet Nike, and wait, that's already happened.
That's actually already happened.
So
wow.
the Doctor. This is funny because like we don't plan these things, guys. But the first Doctor decides to break the web of time, but he's like, hey, that's okay. We're gonna do it in a way where the Time Lord shouldn't get involved.
Well, it was more like the boy had already broken the web of time.
Yeah.
By being
The Doctor said that, He's like, the boy's already broken the web of time by being a time machine. So it's all good.
I'm not actually breaking it any further.
I'm just trying to repair it, so whatever.
And because I guess it also fits in well with the the time radiation as well.
Yeah.
Is because he was in a time machine and travel through time, the boy is able to hold up his own paradox by being his brother.
Yeah. So
it's pretty intense.
We're going to explain that a bit further here. So they walk into a room and a 50-year-old man falls out of this tube. And
no, he was only like 30.
Oh,
50.
Yeah. Okay. 30-year-old man falls out of this tube, and he's talking like a child. And Sarah's like, "Oh, he's the little boy," and the Doctor's like, "Oh, this okay." And then the ship is like, hey, I'm actually a, like, soldier that's also a time machine ship. I'm like a suit of armor for, like, time travel soldiers. And the Doctor's like,
it's not, I don't think it was a thing. I think it was just...
Oh, but they're explorers.
It was like a prototype
for
just generic time travel stuff. The idea was that, like, it was so that you could be safe when you went back in time. Because, obviously, if you went back in time and just like died there, you would probably mess up the time stream.
Yeah.
So like having the time vessel be like a part of you as well is kind of good. But also like it's very much like the machine that the 11th Doctor uses to fake his own death.
What was it called? The Tesselector.
Yeah, the Tesselector. That's exactly what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, where he like, I need to fix the time stream. Oh, but I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
oh,
I feel like somebody may.
Whoa! What if this is a prototype?
Yeah, that I feel like this is a prototype of that.
That's actually super ultra cool.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, so the full M of Terranium
that the Doctor has.
That the Doctor, like, I love that Mavic Chen, man. Mavic Chen's full M of Tyrannium that only Mavic Chen can get.
Yeah.
De-ages the boy back to being his little young boy's little 8-year-old self. And he's all like, what are we going to do now? And the Doctor's like, well, I'm going to tell the ship to blow itself up and we're going to go.
No, he sends it back to where it's going. He's like,
oh, right,
she's like, I should just blow myself up. And he's just like, whoa, calm down.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm
hey,
going to just send you back.
just go home. And she's like, can you even do that? He's like, I'm the Doctor. And then Stephen's like, but you can't even fly the TARDIS. You better shut up, Stephen, or I'll leave you inside the ship.
I can fly whenever.
Yeah, he's like, have you seen The Chase? No, because we picked you up after that story. And so he grabs the little boy, and you realize that the little boy's brother died of cancer.
Leukemia.
Of leukemia. So ultra cancer, which is such a ratchet way for kids. That's like the saddest thing about like Earth, man. Is like children die of one of the most brutal diseases. That's crazy.
And I think the story takes that a little bit further though when it really comes down to it, because he didn't just have his brother die of leukemia.
His family fell apart as a result.
Yeah,
and then his mum committed suicide.
Yeah.
And then he runs away and finds an abandoned time machine.
Yeah, she didn't just like commit suicide. She didn't like just like take him away and like send him to her parents and just like commit suicide. No. She didn't send him anywhere. She just committed suicide and then let him find her on the floor. And he no wonder he was a bit messed up.
Yeah, he was just like he like ran away and was like, I'll just come back when Mummy wakes up. And I'm like, oh, wow, she's never going to wake up again, kid.
Yeah, and then he ends up in this time machine, and because his little brain is so broken by this, I feel like the last few days have just been getting broken for some reason. But anyway, he does that. He gets real broken. He gets in this time machine, and he thinks the last time that I was happy, last time that anyone for me in my general vicinity was happy was Christmas. So I'm gonna go back to Christmas eternally.
Yeah, for every Christmas ever, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah. So yeah.
And yeah, that's what happens. And so the Doctor, this is like, oh man, guys, I can't recommend the story enough, but the ending is like, it's so surreal and like heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time. Is the Doctor's like, the Doctor gets Sarah to convince him to be his own brother.
Yeah.
Because they're identical twins. And the Doctor takes the boy out of the hospital and lets him die in the TARDIS.
Yeah, lets him die with a science fiction view. Of the Earth.
And he's like, I'm gonna take you on an adventure, and the kid's like, whoa, this is real cool, going on an adventure, and then passes away, and the Doctor's like, man, I don't want to see any more deaths. All right, Sarah, so time to start. Planet Kimball, Sarah, you're gonna love it. Beautiful views. Yeah, Little Drummer Boy is like, this is the quintessential Big Finish.
Yeah.
Like, this is when they bring their A game.
Don't listen to it unless you feel like getting real sad.
Because wow. It's fantastic. This is the recommendation of Big Finish for me. I'm pretty certain it's like $1.50 American. So pick it up.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Because it is truly and utterly fantastic. And it's my favorite story so far, not just in the short trip range that we're covering, the single short trip range, but I think of all short trips. I think this is my favorite, which is annoying because short trips keep like giving me a new favorite. Like, yeah, I can't be consistent. But this is just pick it up. And that brings us into the final thing I want to talk about is David Bradley has been confirmed as of last night. This morning for the UK, but last night for us. No, early hours this morning for us, so last night UK.
Hey, don't worry about it. It's a time travel show.
It's a time travel show. You're gonna be like Paul Cornell says. You know, he's a time traveler. He always gets it right. Yeah. David Bradley's going to be playing the First Doctor in official EU canon.
Yeah.
For Big Finish, he's going to be joined by the first TARDIS crew, that the actors who played the first TARDIS crew in Adventure in Space and Time. Which at first I didn't know how I felt about it, because I was kind of hoping William Russell and Carolyn Ford came together. But I don't know. I think this would work better.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It depends, really. It depends on how they handle it. Because I mean, obviously, they could just voice their old characters, but at the same time, they're getting on a bit as well. So
yeah, it's kind especially since William Russell is like nearly in his late 90s. Which, come on, put him in the show, guys.
Yeah.
Man, imagine if Evil Ian was the revelation at the end of Class. We might got a second season. Might have got a second season.
At the same time, I feel like if he had been, then you would have known that that Class would have been on the clock even more than it was. So
yeah,
if he had been like a revelation there, because then they would have had to quickly film a second season. Just gets going. Otherwise, they might not ever be able to finish the show without him. Yeah. Well, I guess it could have easily have been like the finale could have been him like de-aging as well into a new character as well. Like. That's like how he's become evil.
Yeah, he could de-age into the Adventure in Space and Time actor.
Oh wow, that would have even been that would actually be amazing.
Yeah, because he's playing young William Russell anyway. So, wow. But I seriously, as soon as payday rolls along, I am pre-ordering volumes 1 and 2. Apparently they're both coming out very close to each other as well, so we're going to get season 1 and 2 of the David Bradley First Doctor. It's going to have the first Master in it, so it's going to have an aged up version of the 8-year-old Master from was it Sound of Drums or Sound of Drums. What do you want there to be in this? Do you want it to feel like Hartnell's Run, or do you want there to be splashes of new Who in there?
I don't know. It depends on. It honestly depends on a lot of things, really. If it goes with Hartnell's era like stuff, then there's no problem for me. Then it works. At the same time, there's no real need to do that because they don't have to encapsulate any of those old things. They can just do new-ish stuff with the old Doctors, and that's what they've always, that's kind of their tagline, new stories, old Doctors sort of deal. So they can do whatever they want with it, really. And I think having some cleanup with a lot of the old, with a lot of old story stuff using the First Doctor is fantastic, and I don't think that they've been able to do that properly with short trips and being able to do story stuff might go a little better. It doesn't mean that like canonically we're gonna have to go back and do that.
And who better than Big Finish to do it? Like, this is one of the moments where I really wish that BBC's initiative to animate Big Finish we've seen some light of, because I mean, like, they mentioned it a couple of years ago and nothing's happened, and I'm just like, I really hope that BritBox starts bringing in heaps of money. We get animation that was, I think the best animated reconstruction we've had was the First Doctor's Reign of Terror.
Yeah.
And I reckon they could bring that team back, because that team was Author King, who was the Doctor Who fan that made the Third Doctor anime test footage.
Oh yeah.
So he actually directed the Reign of Terror reconstruction. So if they could bring him on board and get him to, like, I know this is going to sound bad because it's a British show and it should be supporting British jobs, but if you can get better animation elsewhere, I kind of think they should do it. And I know that sounds really bad, and I'm probably going to get some flack for that, but I'm just like,
the thing is that if you're not going to get quality animation from inside your country, then obviously you've got to go somewhere else.
Yeah, and if they have Author King who's British directing it, I mean,
yeah, if you just have you have your you have all of the jobs you can fill in England be filled, and then the ones you can't be filled somewhere else. Like, it's not the biggest deal in the world. And basically the sad thing is that when it comes down to just any sort of supply and demand, if they're not supplying you with a quality good, then of course you're going to go somewhere else. Like, that's just how it is if you're shopping for something. So why would that be any different for BBC? Like,
and I mean, America does the same, and America is really pushing to have jobs in the States, but a lot of American animation is done in Asia. I mean, look at The Simpsons. Simpsons is well known for being drawn in Korea. And, like, even though they've, like, got 4 fingers and they don't have actual human-coloured skin or features, the animation is top quality in The Simpsons. Even if the stories have fallen off a bit, the good thing is that we've got Big Finish, and their stories tend to not fall over. So if we have Big Finish and quality animation, a Doctor Who animated series, I mean, especially with the environment of Doctor Who's fans now, and most of the modern Who fans who only watch New Who are generally anime fans as well. And so if you've got like an animated series that's pumping out quality scripts, especially with the McGann Doctor, like, girls will fawn over that. Like, the New Who tween environment would fawn over animated McGann.
Absolutely, McGann is perfect for that, and it's kind of weird. I think when you think about that he really started that whole
Hot Doctor.
And he didn't even get to participate in it.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
It's like the amount of fan artwork. There's like the 8th Doctor being smexy, and I'm just like, this is interesting, because he wasn't even the Doctor when this whole thing took off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Big Finish is a great place for David Bradley to be the Doctor. It's so incredible that he's giving so much love to this role, especially when you watch behind the scenes stuff of how much David Bradley really respected not only classic Who, but William Hartnell as a performer. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
of course.
respect there from David Bradley, and it's so incredible to have him say yes to being in Big Finish, because he could have said no. David Bradley is a heavy hitter. Like, he's getting offered jobs, man. Like, regardless of how old he is still working very frequently. And to say yes to Big Finish, which is a huge commitment, it's a testament to not only him as a performer, but to him as a person.
Absolutely, yeah.
So with that, guys, we'll see you next week. And if you can, pre-order David Bradley as the First Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to Christmas.